So I got a 73 Camaro that I'm going to start doing a build series on. Backstory on this car is a friend of the family. I helped the guy go down to Memphis and pick this car up. It was going to be his drag car. We were going to build it together. He had the car painted, did some stuff to it. I helped him set it up for a big block, and we did some other work to it. And the car kind of sat for a little while, and my friend ended up passing away, so I'm helping the family put this car back together, and I figured a good way to show his kids and keep them kind of up to date on what's going on is to make a video diary of the build and kind of putting this thing together. Again, kind of for me too, to keep track of all the stuff that I've been doing to this. So to this point, I got the car. It was a roller, and one of the motors that he had laying around was a 425 horse 454 crate motor. And in these cars, he was a NHRA stock class racer, and so he wanted to run the flat hood and run the big block. And to do that, to run the flat hood, we actually lowered the motor down, built some custom mounts on the frame rail to lower the motor down and also to move it back just a little bit. But also, when you run a big block in these cars with a flat hood, you have to run a really low intake. And this is actually a factory LS6 intake that was put on the car. So the car does have a cage. It has some forward bars. The wiring's kind of a mess. It was kind of hacked together. And one of the things that is really ugly about this car is the orange. All the orange on this car. Obviously, when my friend had bought the car, it was in primer on the outside, and the guy had jammed the thing all out with this Hugger orange, and it's just everywhere, and it's like offensive. So my buddy really wanted silver car, so he had the rest of the outside of the car painted. And actually, before he had it painted, the whole firewall was orange, the cowl was orange, the underside of the car was orange. I just can't deal with that much orange. I mean, orange motor, orange car, orange everything, just way overpowering. And there's some stuff that I'm going to have to take apart and redo, some janky stuff that was done. But I'll just do a kind of a walk around of where I'm at right now. Like I said, I've dropped in the 454, put in a turbo 400. Also swapped out this axle, which is an empty 12 bolt, and this is a truck 12 bolt. And that was one of his favorite like budget tricks, was to actually take truck 12 bolts and cut them down and have them made to fit these Camaros. So you can see on the inside, previous owner had sectioned in some floor pans. Did a pretty reasonable job at that, so I'm not going to try and redo any of that. And the cage looks reasonably well, but one thing I am going to have to change is that. Ugh, that's gross. And also, you can see this back this back block off. I think somebody's shed is missing some steel, so I'm gonna probably take that apart, because actually this is gonna be more or less a street strip car. I'm gonna put the back seat back in it, fix up the interior a little bit, and then we got some tinfoil. I'm not sure what in the world he was trying to do there. Maybe keep the government out of his head. So, got some work to do. It's a real solid car. Like I said, the thing was painted. I'm gonna do some work in the trunk. More orange. Jeez. So I'm gonna take all this apart and actually do the factory splatter paint in the back of this trunk. But the object is to get this thing kind of put back together. You can see this is another one of his 12 bolts that was laying around, and had a there's a 12 bolt truck motor, ends cut off. It looks like it has the forward bearings in it, but it has like a 12 bolt brake bolt or brake backing plate pattern on it, so I can put the standard drum backing plates on it. You just have to enlarge the holes. But the underside, you can see, not as much orange. And so there's a little bit there where I kind of nicked the undercoating spray that I put in there, but just in an attempt to kind of make this thing not so gaudy looking. So anyway, just a general walk around. I'll be doing more updating. I'll have to try and search for more trim, try and get that. But again, really the object is to get the car back together, maybe make a pass down the strip. You know, both of his sons, you know, they're into cars, but they live some distance away. So trying to get this ready for them and get it done, and you know, they'll be able to sell it or drive it or whatever they want to do with it. So a lot more to come. I'll try and put more videos out, maybe like once a week, until this thing gets fired up and goes down the road and is at least out of my garage and out of my care.